Right, I've been wanting to actually make a video about this for a while. It's a bit of a concern of mine. I got given a water cooler. I'm not going to mention the make of it, but it was bought at a big chain health store, and it was given to me because it was faulty, and I tried to fix it. I did some fault finding and worked out how they work and etc. Long story short, this is called a Peltier device, and if you put 12 volts on here, this side gets very hot and this side gets very cold. Can't explain the exact workings of it, but it's got to do with potential difference and differentials and blah blah blah. I'm not an expert at it. Basically, I just know that that side gets hot, that side gets cold. In order to keep this side cool, there's a heat sink, a much bigger one than this with a fan set up. On the cold side, this heat sink goes into this is the water tank that actually accumulates the water. So the water will accumulate in here, it will settle in here, and it will be cooled by this aluminium heatsink. Now, the point of this video is, there's plenty of videos explaining how these things work and etc., but my concern is this is sold at a health shop, and this exact same method of cooling is used in every office building around the world. They've all got those water coolers where you just go and press a little lever and water comes out, can either heat it or cool it. This, if you reverse the polarity, if you put a positive on the negative and a negative on the positive, it works the other way around. This side will get cold and this side will get hot. So it's just you reverse the polarity, it works the same. So we've got an aluminium heatsink in direct contact with the water that we are drinking. Now, I've always known not to cook with aluminium. It is not good for your health. I don't know the exact science of it, but I've always known that and been told to avoid cooking in aluminium pots and storing water in aluminium containers and that sort of jazz. Now, if you have a look in there, don't know how clear it is, but inside this water container, I'm going to run my finger over there. Look at this. This is the corrosion from this heatsink, which is aluminium. If you take a closer look inside over here, that is corrosion happening. And this wasn't a very old machine. It was purchased and it ran for about a year and a bit. And in that time, look at this corrosion. Okay, so you've got aluminium in direct contact with water that you're drinking, and it's sold as a health device. I would like to know from anybody who is knowledgeable with this kind of material and this kind of device and involved in the health and safety world, is this legal? Is this actually allowed? And if not, how are they getting away with it? And I might add, I won't mention the name brand of this water cooler, but it's a big one. It's a big international one. Well-known make. And they've got this aluminium. My question is, why do they use aluminium? Why is it corroding? How is it allowed that this much oxide, aluminium rust, is allowed to accumulate after a year's use? Imagine what these things look like after, if they don't pack up after a year, what does it look like in there after 3, 4, 5 years? These ones that are in offices, that people, all the office workers are drinking day in and day out, getting aluminium poisoning. Am I wrong? Is this a healthy aluminium? Is this a food grade aluminium? Alternatively, what are the options? I mean, the water that comes out of here is delicious. It's got a filter as well. It advertises that it filters out all sorts of chlorides and bacteria and all sorts of things. It's sold as a health product. And yet, the water is cooled by this aluminium. So I'm just putting this out there. I've bought a new Peltier device to repair this thing, but I really don't want to use it. I mean, could I go to a machine shop and get somebody to machine a stainless steel heatsink, maybe? Is that an option? And if that's the case, why aren't these things sold with stainless steel heatsinks? I think it's shocking. If this is what I think it is, a health risk, it ought to be addressed. So if anybody watching this does have any information, please comment below and shed some light on it. Should I use it? Shouldn't I? Should I put it back together again and sell it with a clear conscience? And the people that gave this to me replaced it with a new one. They're using this now. They're dear to me, family, relatives, and I just can't believe that this sort of thing is legal. So yeah, that's that.